Good afternoon and welcome to Community Connections, brought to you by Family's Choice Electrical Repair. My name is Matt Wilkerson, along with my partner Greg Steen. Greg, today we have a guest with us. There's a lot of hot topics, and when it affects somebody's wallet, it tends to perk people's ears up.
Yeah, true.
So, County Commissioner of District 1, Commissioner Craig Curry.
That's
First
correct.
things first, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
You've got a busy schedule.
Yeah.
It has been busy being chairman this year.
Yes. But we appreciate it. Some of the topics and the questions that we're going to be talking about today, that they affect a majority of the residents in Marion County in one way or the other, whether it's roads we're going to get into, various things. But it's just a lot of important things. And we see the growth in this community and some of the things that we're going to talk about. But we just appreciate you joining us and giving some of this valuable information. Anybody that is watching this or will watch this later, make sure that you would share this post for people that can watch it later. They can view it later, and there's some valuable information in here that the Marion County residents will be able to watch. Greg, you want to kick off?
I do want to kick off and jump right in. I also ask anyone that's watching it live, please in the comments enter 1. And if you're watching it later on, can you please comment 2? And so jumping in and asking the very first question, can you tell us a little bit about the litter task force?
Yeah, that's something that's very near and dear to my heart. Actually, it was one of the points of a platform that when I ran for office in 2020 and promised the people that I would try to do something aggressively to clean the county up. Once I got in, we did a little survey. We have what's called PIO office, Public Information Office, and it wasn't a scientific survey, but certainly we got several hundred responses. And over 95% of the people that responded to the survey said it was a very serious problem for the community. And that's just what they can see. We pick up, on average, about 125,000 pounds of litter and dumped garbage in the national forest a month.
I saw that on the news yesterday.
A month.
I saw it on the news.
But the more you mentioned taxes, we spend in the county, the unincorporated part, in 2022, $1.4 million just picking up other people's trash. So what I tell people when I go out and talk, they're always asking for government to save tax money. This is an easy one. This is one that we have set a platform for the community. We put together 28 key people in the community. For example, FDOT, Game and Fish, the Forestry Service, State Attorney, all of the police chiefs, the school system. Each of the county commissioners appointed a member to the task force. And they came up with a recommendation that we adopted. Took them about 8 months, but it has paid dividends. I'll give you this example. There was 23,000 pounds of roofing materials that were dumped in the national forest. The Game and Fish Commission went through that material, found an address. I believe it was down in Seminole County. It wasn't even in Marion.
Wow.
And the company that dumped it was from Jacksonville. So the state attorney, we've got everybody on the same page. We have a brand new ordinance that I'll talk about just a second. But the ordinance is very aggressive. We're not trying to arrest everybody, but you got to have teeth behind any effort.
Sure.
And this particular company was charged $2,000. They cannot do business in Marion County ever again.
Wow.
They got to do 100 hours of community work at the picking up garbage and
You need
so
to teach them a
forth.
lesson.
Yeah, instead of just writing a check, here, actually
Yeah,
pick it up.
and we had a press conference yesterday that lasted about an hour with all of the entities that were involved in bringing justice to that incident. But if you just look along the roads and the byways and the rivers and the streams and the lakes, people either don't think or don't care. If you throw something loose in the back of your pickup truck, it's going to blow out. So I think it was Judge Taddy. We went to each judge and made sure they understood the ordinance and how important it was to the community. And there was a DUI case, and the person that had the DUI threw his beer can out the window. And the judge gave him 2 days in jail for the DUI and an extra day in jail for littering, for throwing his beer can out.
Okay. Good.
So the ordinance, the first offense is $150. The second offense is $300 and up to 10 days in jail.
Wow.
The third offense is $500 and up to 20 days in jail. So we are serious about this. We want this to be part of our everyday in Marion County, that people are talking about it and helping, as I said, that platform we've set. Government can't solve everybody's problems. And what we can do is create a platform for people to work off of and help as a community solve those problems.
So in other words, this is the county saying, help us help you.
Right.
To the tune of what we say, 1.6 million?
1.4 million.
1.4 million.
That was
That's-
last year.
That's crazy.
So the bottom line is we're trying to change the hearts and minds of the people in Marion County. A lot of times if you're not aware of something, it
Right.
just doesn't mean much to you. But we have brought all the forces to bear. We've got a motto that step up, pick it up, don't litter. There's no horsing around with Marion. That's the motto.
I like it.
And then we have our mascot, Rubbish. And the phone number is not live yet. Within 2 weeks it will be. But if you see garbage accumulated, tires or whatever, you can call 352-RUBBISH.
352 rubbish. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our solid waste department will go out and pick it up.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I
So
had no idea.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
changing gears a little bit, I have seen some of these stats, but Marion County population, is it still growing or is it slowing down or is it?
Good question. It is growing. Marion County's population is through 400,000. And the interesting thing, and this comment will come to bear on probably some other topics this morning, but on any given day, we'll have over 500,000 people in Marion County. People wonder why our roads are crowded. It's not just the people that live here, but a lot of people work here. They live in Citrus County, Alachua County. They'll travel 20, 25 miles a day one way to get to work because this is the economic hub
True.
of our
This is the
geographic-
nucleus.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You've got FedEx, Chewy, Amazon, the the WEC,
Yeah.
World Equestrian Center. This is the nucleus of
We
most
got more
definitely.
coming too. But to
Oh, wow.
answer your question, is it growing or not? It is growing. But for example, the building permits in 2022 were 6,456. In 2023, now this is up to October 1
Sure.
on a fiscal year. 2023, it was 5,493. So still a lot of permits being
Wow.
issued, but around 963 less than the year before. But the realtors are still busy. It has slowed down a little bit
Interest
because
rates.
of the interest
Yeah.
rates, but people are still moving here.
Right.
I guess it was the Wall Street Journal just said that Marion County and Ocala was the safest place to live during a hurricane. We're inland.
Right.
Hurricanes get knocked down. There may be a Category 1 at the most. The biggest problem we have when we have a storm like that is probably tornadoes.
Right.
And a little wind. So, I would say to answer the question is we are slowing, but we're growing.
Good deal. Good
Slowing
deal.
and growing.
That's right.
So speaking of the roads and everyone traveling, whether they be here or from somewhere else, can you tell us a little bit about the 49th Street interchanges and Buc-ee's?
I will. 49th Street interchange is the new interchange that is going to be between State Road 27 interchange and 326.
Okay.
It's basically where the Baldwin Ranch property is. Let me talk about Buc-ee's just a minute. We were going to have the largest Buc-ee's in the world, and Texas, which is their home state, found out about that, and they just renovated, I heard, one of their stores to make sure it was 1,000 square feet larger.
Oh, my goodness. Tell them to hold off for at least 6 months so we can at least have that title for a little bit.
Well, it'll be probably 4 or 5 years before we get the Buc-ee's. That's about the time it's going to take
Wow.
to get the new interchange.
Right.
That is a project that FDOT is funding by and large.
Nice.
And it's over $100 million, so there's a lot of they're almost there, but they're, I'd say, around $20-25 million short at this point. Interestingly, the governor has an effort called Moving Florida Forward, and he got a $4 billion appropriations this year from the state legislature. He identified 20 projects across the state. We are one of those projects that will give us additional lanes on each side of I-75 from 44, State Road 44 to the south, going north to 326.
Oh.
So people did not like the idea of the turnpike extension because they didn't want it going through open farmland and so forth and other reasons. And they said as an alternative, they wanted I-75 to be expanded. The governor listened, and that's going to be about a $450 million project out of that $4 billion.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. On the interchange, honest opinion, do you truly think that it's going to alleviate or greatly reduce the bottleneck in Marion County? When you go down State Road 200 and you simply look up on the overpass, 9 times out of 10, they're
traffic.
doing 15 miles per hour.
Parking lot.
It will, and even worse, on average, every 9 days, that road is shut down.
Because of
either
a wreck.
north or south because of a wreck. Let me answer that. The answer is yes, it will.
Okay.
The reason is 2 roads that one is being widened, one's being created. That is, the first one is 80th Avenue, and it will go from 200, 4-lane, that will go past on top of the world. It'll cross 40. It goes continuing on to, by WEC, World Equestrian Center, and it crosses 27, State Road 27.
4 lanes the entire way.
That will go straight. All that will be 4-lane. That is pennies for park. That's our sales tax in Marion County. And that also is over $100 million. So it's very big price tags. But that road from 200 will be 4-lane. It will go all the way across State Road 27. Then it will go down about a quarter of a mile and take a right. It will be a new road, and it will intersect into the new interchange.
Oh, wow.
In addition, we have 49th Avenue down near Marion Oaks that already has 4-lane. It will come out at Coles, the flyover at Coles.
Yep.
That's where that will come out. And then it will eventually proceed across 200, across 40, across 27.
That will help.
And it will also intersect into the new interchange.
Oh, wow.
I'm looking okay.
So it's going to take some time, but the 80th Avenue is going to be done first because it already exists as a 2-lane, and we're going to 4-lane that. That'll be a game changer.
Yeah, with those two being together. that's
Oh,
gonna be
yes.
nice.
I did not know how broad this was going to be, but it sounds like it's going to be a major
That's
improvement.
just 2 roads. There's a lot of things in the works. We have, in the next 10 years, over $900 million of road work planned and only $300 million covered in terms of cost. So that's why as we start talking about our sales tax, I'm going to, if you ask that question.
That is going to be my next question. So
Okay.
just like I was saying, we had a previous guest on, Kevin Sheely, CEO of the CEP.
Yeah.
I know his opinion.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on the sales tax? Should we renew it?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that, I don't want to be unkind about it, but that's a no-brainer. 30% of that tax, which is sales tax, the extra penny, is paid by people from out of town. Those people I was talking about that work here that don't pay any taxes and they go home at night in another county, they pay it. People that you don't think about it, but there's 100,000 cars and trucks that come through I-75 every day. 25,000 of them are 18-wheelers. So we have a lot of people coming and going through our community that as they stop to get gas, they use our roads. If there's a wreck that they're involved in, they use our first responders. And so this is a way for them to pay back some of the costs that they cost us. The other thing is it severely reduces our ad valorem tax. If we had to rely totally on building all of these expensive roadways
Right.
and to accommodate the growth, our taxes wouldn't be anywhere near what they are now. They would be much higher. So
You were talking about ad valorem. You got the next question, but goes right into property taxes. So that is a good segue.
So as far as the property taxes, it just seems like we're flowing right here, good flow. Where are we ranking with the other 66 community?
well, there's 66 or 67 counties in Florida. We are on our operational millage, which is 4.49, something like that. We rank 59th. So people are always asking us to be judicious and careful about spending our money, and we are. If you can just look at where we rank relative to the other 66 counties.
So you're
That's
talking
crazy.
59, and number one, of course, is the most expensive.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, 67th is the lowest. And then, the lower ones are smaller counties that don't have a lot of growth. They don't have a lot of roads. We have 2,500 miles of roadway in Marion County.
Doesn't a lot of that have to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't a lot of that have to do with the I-75 and the 27 corridor, the FedExes, the Chewies, the Amazons, all the revenue that these big companies are bringing in here with property taxes?
Yeah, that does help. There's no doubt about it. I may have this number wrong, but a million square feet of industrial space pays the same taxes that 500 homes would pay.
I'm telling you, that is a big benefit. That's why
So-
we're 59 and we're not in the
Right.
top 10.
Yeah, I mean, what Kevin Sheely and the CEP, I know some people view that as an anti-type thing. They don't want growth. They want us to put a moratorium in place, and I'm opposed to that for good reason. But I'm not sure exactly where people would expect us to put the fence up.
Yeah.
So we manage the growth as it comes in. I won't say we control it,
I got you.
because we don't. We manage it the best we can, and we'll talk about sales tax, but if you look at 59th out of 67, that tells you a little bit right there.
I'm telling you,
that's
and
impressive.
a lot of it is the reason we're 59th. It's just like I said, over on the 27 area, and people who don't want the growth, but yet if their taxes go up because all of the big revenue companies are not here,
Right.
they're going to be upset at that. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Be thankful that we're 59th.
I was born and raised here. My family settled here from Georgia in 1823. It's interesting. I actually had, I don't know how many greats it goes back, but I had a great-great-great-great-grandfather that was a county commissioner in 1844.
Oh my goodness!
It's in the family.
Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of interesting stuff there. But it doesn't take long when you leave Marion County and you go to an Orlando or Jacksonville or Tampa or other communities. You can't wait to get back here.
That's for sure. That's true.
I will throw it in. You didn't ask the question, but in regard to our growth, people say we're blacktopping over everything. Well, let me throw a few numbers out to you. Marion County has 1.1 million acres. If you take the national forest, that's about 400,000 acres. If you take the farmland preservation, that's about 200,000 acres. So
Wow.
4, 5, 6 of the 1.1. And then the rivers, lakes, streams, natural things that we have, that's another 100,000 acres. So that's about 700 plus thousand. So if you look at it, we try to move the growth. We have a comprehensive land use plan. It's kind of like, if you will, the Bible to us in terms of tracking our growth and where it should go. It tells you where the industrial should go. It tells you where the residential should go. And the reason we have that is it sets up what's called an urban growth boundary. And that's where our infrastructure is, our roads, our water, our sewer, our shopping. And so that's why you see areas of Marion County so concentrated, because that's the intention, is to put people, so a lot of them have short drives to the store, or in fact they can even walk or, ride their bicycle. But, we are not trying to blacktop everything. We are very sensitive to our open spaces and beautiful places. So, hopefully that answers that question a little bit.
I will say this, horse capital of the world,
Right.
we can't blacktop everything.
No,
That's not
we can't.
impossible.
And we have
We
one
need room for them.
Yeah.
We have one horse for every 4 people.
Wow.
We got
One horse
400,000
for every
people and
4.
100,000 horses.
That's
Wow.
awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so let me ask you this last question.
Okay.
That is a hot topic. People are coming in the county at record numbers, even though it might be slowing a little bit. Housing.
Yeah.
Are we able to keep up or even stay close to building enough homes, apartments, whatever the case may be? And then, even though inflation's out there, I know it's a bad word right now. I get that. Affordable housing.
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Well, you got to go back. You can't just take this year or this year and last year as a slice of time. You have to go back to the Great Recession. That set up a lot of problems. We cut taxes like 6 times during that period of time. We were going backwards. Our fire rescue was not growing. Our sheriff was falling backwards. And that's why I just read an article yesterday, I guess it was in the Gazette, that said, hey, the fire rescue budget is increasing by 25%. The sheriff's budget's increasing by 21%. And the reason is because the 2 years of the pandemic, when all things stood still and went backwards, but more importantly, that 12 years of the Great Recession. So we were thousands of residential units behind. And what happened is that all of a sudden the tap got turned back on and growth started in the state of Florida. We got 1,000 people a day, new folks moving into Florida. So we're getting our fair share of that 1,000
Yes,
is
we are.
what's
Yep.
happening. Now we're getting 220 a week. They're getting 1,000 a day. But, we have a void in housing on 3 areas. Number one, housing in general. We're probably 5,000 or 6,000 units behind.
Still.
And as soon as we start getting caught up, we fall behind again because of the growth. And then we have on the high side, you don't think of it, but the people that can afford $1 million house or an $800,000 house. We have a tremendous shortage of that type of housing. And then on the other end, the 250,000 and below, you know, you used to think in terms of maybe modular housing or a mobile home. That's even expensive.
Yes, it is.
now.
Yes, anything
Everything's
now.
A
expensive. right now.
$20,000 lot, and then you got a $75, $80, $100, $150,000 mobile home or a double wide. So we are, through our community services, we put $2 million in the pot last year to try and, as an investment to our community services, to work with builders to give them incentives to, as they do projects, to have a percentage of those projects go for lower income residences. So particularly in the rental area. So, you know, we have an arm of government here. I can't remember the exact name offhand. I'm thinking of so many things. But it's our housing division, and it's independent. We appoint them, and then they become independent. But they're fixing to do probably around a $30 million bond issue, from what I can tell, to build affordable housing. So, you know, we're working on it. It's just everything's expensive.
And it will be filled almost immediately.
Yeah, right.
Probably.
Filled.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time
Appreciate
coming
it.
over here today. I know you've got, just like I said, a packed schedule, but to be able to discuss 5 or 6 hot topics that affect just about every Marion County resident, thank you for coming over.
Well,
Thank
if
you for coming.
people
Appreciate your
need
time.
more response or answers, have them call the county commission office, and I'll be happy to call them back.
That's
Awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you very
that
much.
works. Thank you very much. County Commissioner in District 1, Craig Curry, thank you for being our guest. On behalf of Greg Steen and myself, Matt Wilgerson, this is Community Connections, brought to you by Family's Choice Electrical Repair. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Good.